morning.
So,
I love
so
your office today.
Oh, thank you. So I was actually debating a little bit in my mind, like, oh, I should go home and like have my laptop and be able to take notes, right? But then I'm like, no, I'm gonna trust that this is perfect also for Lanie, that we can just show up and play and be present, and magic shows up anyway. And I know how important and beneficial nature is for you, so I'm trusting that me being here without notes is still gonna be perfect.
Yeah, that's nice because on my sessions, this is actually came up with my client on Monday. She was laughing because she's a nurse practitioner, so she has all these rules and regulations. She has to follow electronic health records, and I have a fanny pack with a note card, and I pull it out, and it says notes on my little index card, and she loved it. She was like, I love the freedom of that, because I'm moving away from therapy so that I don't have all that constriction.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so perfect. You just
how
inspired me
can you take notes when you're outside, right? Like it would be very hard for me to be hiking or hiking. So yeah, trust me, know what I need to know.
Yeah. But it's cool. Next, you just inspired me. I'm going to create a running, hiking, whatever, tiny fanny pack with notes for clients. So I can have all of that with me and do everything in a small, compressed way, being outside, and just take a picture of it. And that's way easier and more magical.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea. I like that.
Okay, Zap, we're done. Cool. How are you doing, Lanie? And what's your magic wand wish for today?
It's so interesting. I've had a morning of, I guess it's been about 3 hours now of like getting to a different spot, and it's just so interesting to me how much I need community, because the whole working by myself, I really get stuck in my head. And so like even just getting on the call right now, I feel like I'm okay. Things are fine. Like, I'm navigating what I need to navigate, but I don't know how to shift this for myself. So I made some notes kind of last night before bed, and then coming into the call about intentions and what I want. And it really feels like my health really needs to be my priority. And it is stirring up sadness, just because there's so many things I want to do, and my energy is constricted and lowered by fatigue and just like the physical reality of my health at times. And it seems like being isolated is not helping that, like just even if I just had like a morning call with another human being to just have connection. And so I'm a little, I'm a little confused right now about really what I want. And I was reflecting on even the Zap group, because I love what you guys are doing. And I don't know if it's going to serve exactly what I'm kind of looking for, in the sense that the calls aren't at a time when I can join. And my biggest desire and magic wand wish is to have a sense of community and connection that allows me to, maybe I'm not in perfect health, but I'm at least in connection that allows me to feel better. Like I feel healthier when I have a lot of people in my life. And like it's amazing. It's almost like I didn't think of myself as an extrovert, but I think I'm just a really, really social introvert. And I've always had a ton of people in my life, and I used to think that was a distraction. And now I see that it's just, I have so much love to give that I want to be deeply connected, and I'm just not right now. It feels like something gets in my way. So I think that's my magic wand wish.
Gotcha. So I heard the
health
main
and
thing.
Connection.
Yeah, health and connection. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks for sharing so openly. That's really, really awesome. So I just had like first inspirations, and I'm just about to go into a brainstorming of like how you can create this. But Kavita has something. I was gonna like give it all to you. Don't worry.
Yeah, no. Lanie, you want to put a number to that? I just, we normally ask for the number to the feeling.
Thank you.
So
Okay.
that's what I wanted to remind first.
Thank you.
Yeah, like where I'm at right now with that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I'm grateful to be on the call with you right now. So that feels like a sense of connection in that it's, I'm probably at like a 5 or higher. I mean, yeah, I feel like
And if you're not on a call, like in general in life, where would you put your number right now?
Like when that feeling of isolation steps in, like what does that, feel like in terms of numbers?
Probably about the same because I've been growing my community.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, so just to clarify the health and connection piece, it feels like part of the reason that's maybe not happening is that part, like from the last call, that I feel like I need to hide this part because I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer and dragging my health condition around and making that the focus of things.
Interesting. That's so interesting because like when you say that, does that even relate to you not being able to have community for you, like as you speak it? Thinking that you're you can't have community because you're a Debbie Downer with your health. Does that even relate?
No, because I just had a dance party at my house.
Yeah.
And that was awesome.
Okay. Yeah, cool. I'm glad you caught yourself because I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense. But okay. I know our mind like says stuff, right? I totally get it.
It's online, I think. I think that's what happens is when I'm trying to connect online, it doesn't feel right. And that's when I bring in all these stories.
Interesting.
So one of the things I noticed, and Astrid, you can also tell me like, what comes up for you as I share this, because we're putting the pieces together here for Lanie, and Lanie, you can also reflect at the end of it. The thing that jumped out for me as you were sharing all of this was that, I know we were doing the meditation club, and then at the point when you actually committed, it went a bit haywire for me, which was interesting. And then, of course, now you're in the Zap Club, and for both situations, the evidence is that the timing isn't quite right to suit you, right? Which is just reality reflecting that evidence. And it has me wondering if part of your belief system as well is that I can't truly get exactly what is it I want. There is always some sort of compromise or settling in that process. And that is what is actually bringing the sadness and also triggering the health problems in your body.
Oh my gosh. How's that resonating?
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that even like yesterday, I didn't do the full Zap. I did the parts that resonated while I was walking, and then I came home and the client had texted me. And yeah, there's like a part of me that's like already trying to protect myself. Like, okay, don't get too excited. Yeah, he called you. Yeah, he answered the phone. Yeah, he answered the phone as he was getting on a plane, but he'll probably back out.
So what's the underlining belief? Kavita, you saw it. Can you say that one more time in a sentence, or maybe Lanie, depending on...
It's the fear of disappointment, right?
And I know where it comes from.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I do know where it comes from, and I'm a little shocked that it's like still there. But it makes sense because, new level, new devil. So I'm putting myself out there in a bigger way. So of course, that is going to come out at a different level.
So when you say it's still there, you know that it's just another layer of it. Like it doesn't, it's basically you get the opportunity to release a different piece of it that is not serving you, right? So it's a good thing, right? And so if you're in a really even if it feels heavy, like it's a really great opportunity. It's like, oh yeah. So now I feel it's like the time to love that part and to transmute it with love and somehow shift it from there. What are you getting, Kavita?
Well, the interesting part about disappointment, it's usually because we have expectations and then that expectation isn't met exactly the way we see it, right? We want it to look a certain way, to come in a certain form. And if that thing doesn't happen, we're like, well, we're a failure, and we make up all these stories, which is not necessarily the truth, because sometimes it may unfold in different ways, right? Or there might be a little pause in the process and then it unfolds and maybe a month later, right? But we've already like beaten ourselves up over the process, right? Yeah. So that's one layer of it. It's what is it? What are the expectations you're placing on yourself? There's this masculine part of you that's really being hard and well, Lanie, if you're doing this, da 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 da, this is how it's got to be. This is how it's got to be done. This is the time frame you've got to get it done in, and those kinds of things. Whereas we're saying it's not that you don't have to have those kinds of structure, but if it is that it's the only way, then you see how you're kind of self-sabotaging and defeating the whole point of it, right?
Yeah, I think that I'm allowing more in my life than I've ever before. I mean, I do see that I had to slow way down when I got this health diagnosis, but that was like 5 years ago now. And it's just been a matter of learning how to live slower and with less pressure. And yeah, there's residual of that still there. Like on Tuesday, I went to a networking thing with somebody, and I don't really like that so much. Like, I don't really like networking that much. But I was open to seeing how it would go with this particular person. And she asked me towards the end or something, she said, "Are you happy?" And I hated this question. I really hated this question because it really put me on the spot. And it was like, I can't be honest. I can't say, well, I'm trying to be. I have this health thing that makes me tired and can't do some of the things I want to do. And I feel kind of fatigued. But I just, in that setting, it didn't feel appropriate with someone who I'm just meeting. So that's what I mean by I feel like there's parts that I'm hiding. And I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm letting more of that be seen in my All-Stars group. I'm letting more of that be seen in the Zap group. Like, I'm trying to just be honest. And this is a residual theme, because remember on one of our first calls, I said the thing that was very upsetting to me about one of the talks I went to was that I felt like I had to hide something. And so even today, like, my mind was pretty active this morning in questioning, like, should I really be working with Astrid and Kavita, or should I be in therapy? Like, do I need this old crap need to be dealt with somewhere else? Like, I don't know that you guys are really wanting to look at this or do this.
Right.
I'm totally open to like, I'm not feeling any place of like, no, this is like, no, we can't do this. But like, it's also like where you feel intuitively guided to speak, like if you
No, but you see the pattern here. What Lanie's doing to herself is that you want it. There's this part of you, because you're having a battle with yourself. There's this part of you that wants to give yourself a fair chance and say, let's step into the thing. Let me commit to it. Let me do the thing. And then when you step into that, you suddenly doubt that decision and you try to reverse it. And you never really take yourself to the finish line of experiencing the benefit of that. And again, it's because you're placing so much pressure on yourself. You're placing so much pressure on the container that you're in. You're placing that this has to be the right thing. This has to be the magic pill. And
the perfection thing. Yeah.
Right. And then you're not really living and enjoying the process of it, right? Because the funny thing about it is that once we can be in a space of like, and for Astrid and I, we kind of come from the opposite energy sometimes, where we're like, oh, we're led to connect to somebody and have this conversation, and we have no idea why and how and where and what. There is no pressure of the expectation. We don't even know what we're going to tell that person sometimes, but we're guided to meet that person. So we do meet, and we're like, hey, we're guided to meet with you. This is, and we share honestly where we are, and this is what it looks like. And then something, it still doesn't unfold in that moment, and then we probably meet 2 or 3 times after, and we recognize what is the magic that unfolds. But it comes from a place of curiosity, and it, like, no expectations, no pressure, no anything, right? And I'm just reflecting this to you as another possibility that you probably never thought of you yourself stepping into and experiencing. The health condition, by the way, it's like, think of it as a snapshot of your current reality. It's just showing up as evidence as, hey, all these feelings and things that you've been putting and trying to control and hold on and mold into something in a way is a bit forceful. This is the health condition that is showing up in this way, right? And it would not be there once you're able to release and transmute all that energy, right? Because the body is the densest part of the energy. And sometimes we release all the things, and then the body has a little bit of catching up to do. Like, it may take a week, a month at most to just really clear all the stuff. And it's the discernment to now look back at that and say, oh, I can see that I already released all this story, and this is just residual evidence of a past story, right?
Yeah, I want to believe that. And that's, I did work with this coach for like, I've lost track of time. It was several years, and I did because I had a deep hope, that I could change my health, that I could shift my health by releasing. And and I wouldn't be on this call if I didn't still somewhere believe that that's possible. And then you're right about like the judgment and stuff. Like, I still have shame that it has taken me this long, and that something's stuck.
And so, like, go ahead.
Just even in the group, sharing that, like, I feel like the other people are aware that if something were different in me, that I could be healthier, so I felt like there is that just shame of being seen.
Yes. So you have such wonderful pieces that you're bringing to the table, like that you can play forgiveness with. I feel, like that whole shame piece, like you can choose to love it and to love yourself. And it's funny that I actually put a comment like that this morning in the group, like sending yourself a hug, love yourself up. It's like exactly same, like it keeps coming back. I did get a so I don't have anything to draw, but I drew in the sand here and the rocks, and I got this interesting, I was inspired to pick up this thing, which is like a straw. It's like a kelp sort of thing, algae, right? But it's like almost like a breathing straw, right? And I felt inspired to stick it in the middle of a shape that looks like a D, and that made me think of like, oh my gosh, it's like a feminine womb. It's almost the inspiration for me that your inner divine feminine is like gasping for air. It's like it wants to be fed, and like it wants to be nurtured, and it needs some love. And right now it's just like, I'm here and you're not really feeding me. That's kind of the essence what I'm getting. It's like you're trying to pitch yourself so like with the masculine, like following those, I have to do things this way, I have to, and you're playing with it, right? But like I feel like your divine feminine like needs like the full love of where you're at, and giving yourself all the love it needs, all the self-care, and like that's what I'm getting. Is that, Kavita, does that like, can you connect the dots?
So I'm gonna take this conversation a little bit deeper and on the other end of everything, and just for you to really reflect, Lanie. All right, so look at it this way. Yes, awesome. Yeah, think about it this way, right? Like, if today was the last day of your life and you're in a position of being hyper aware, and you know that it's time to move on, and you look back at the entire span of your life, right? What are the moments that would jump out at you the most? Which ones would you really like, oh, I'm so glad that I said yes to that, I'm so glad that I did that, I'm so glad that I showed up, I'm so glad that I, whatever it is, look at your life right now. right? We're here with you. Just take a moment and look at the whole timeline and see what jumps out at you. And I'll give you a moment before you share.
Yeah, you can close your eyes if you want to do that.
The reason I'm crying is because I know, so like deep down I know. And I'm also scared because I know I shared with you guys when I first met you about my partner losing his job and me being the one to provide our income and stuff. And my life, the things that I've said yes to, I've had an incredible life. I've done some things that, you know, most people haven't had the chance to do. And it just came to a screeching halt when I moved to Arizona, which has been 7 years now. And that's when I started having health issues. And it's been a struggle to get my partner on board, and so I quit trying to get my partner on board, which is very wise. And so I just said yes last night to tickets to the beach. I'm very happy about that.
To do what?
To go to the beach, to tickets.
Oh, nice.
My dad.
Nice.
My dad just moved to the beach, and so, you know, that is very meaningful to me that I can see my family. I have not been able to see them a lot. And, you know, yes to when I moved to New York, and yes to when I went to Africa. And, you know, there were just a lot of yes when I went to graduate school. And there was this freedom in my life, and I had adventure and expression and creativity. And like, it sucks because all my journals for like the last 5 years reflect this deep desire. And so it gets manifested in my work. You know what I mean? It's like
desire
I have like
of what?
Creativity,
Desire.
connection, and adventure.
Okay.
And so that's, you know, when I joined the Bill Barron program, I have my vision board, and that's everything that it's about. And I've been stepping into it more and more for myself. And it's not what my partner's about at all. And it feels, and sometimes, and I shared with him just the other night that sometimes I feel trapped, you know, that I feel stuck, and he gives me complete permission to go, you know, to live the life that I want to live. And he's not, you know, trying to hold me back in any way. And in that love, I want to stay. But I also feel like I'm not doing all the things that I would ultimately want to do. And I do let my health be the excuse. You know, I talk myself out of it because.
Yeah. And that's not it's like blaming the tail of the snake or something.
Yeah.
It doesn't relate. It's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. Wow.
So yes, so the yeses in my life have been risks.
Okay, so pause a moment. I'm so glad that you shared that journey, because Astrid and I our heart was just expanding for all that passion and joy that came from those kinds of adventures, right? Now, the thing about what I heard you say as well is exactly what Astrid pointed out and brought to the table, that divine feminine part of you is not being given a chance to breathe, and she really wants to get your attention. So while you did all these things, you're now in a phase of like, okay, you've gotten yourself up to this point. You're now mature enough to deal with this deeper part of you that, you know, you may feel a bit broken in going deeper. You may feel super vulnerable, but it's something that needs to heal in order to take you to the third part of your journey, right? So you're in this transition phase, and also exactly why you attracted us at this point. So that divine feminine energy too is saying, I'm tired, right? That's what she's saying. And she's reflecting that in your body. I'm tired. It would be so nice if somebody can provide for me. I'm tired of all the things, right? I'm tired of wanting to have to manage all the things and to make things happen and doing the work in that sense, the physical and the everything, right? And so even you, when you're reaching out to your partner, in a way, that's what you're expressing. That's that divine energy. And he's saying, I'm not the one to fix it. Basically, you're free to do whatever you want with it. And your human self is being like, but wait a minute, that's not how this is supposed to work. I'm not getting the satisfaction or the kind of container that I want in order to move forward, right? Which also brings you back again to yourself, because you can't really run from it and put it, like Astrid said about the tail of the snake, you can't put it on other things, right? You got to come back into yourself. And so this masculine part of you is actually the wounded masculine. So that's why he's like domineering and like, it's my way or the highway kind of energy. So that's how you also operate. And if you can soften your energy with this, the playfulness and the meditations and everything else that we're bringing to the table, just soften your energy and say, well, nothing has to be done in this moment. I wouldn't die if these things weren't done today, right? Give myself permission to just hit the pause button and really look at yourself, right? And then you can come and say, all right, what does that feminine part of me want? Does she want more rest? Does she want to go to the beach, right? Which you already organized? Does she want to meet with her family? Because you've got to shift the energy from the wounded masculine into the divine masculine, and this is your learning curve as well. Because once you start listening to the divine feminine within you, your divine masculine is being like, oh, the best thing that really lights me up is to serve that divine feminine. Whatever she wants, I want to be able to provide for it. Go ahead.
I just got this funny metaphor, like this thing. I thought it looks like a straw, right? Like to allow your feminine to breathe. It also looks like a cigar, where like the divine masculine can smoke.
That's hilarious.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
So I love what Kavita said, and I'm gonna say it in my words, and then I want to invite you to say in your words how you want to feel inspired to play with it. So what I heard is like really expanding the straw and allowing your divine feminine to breathe, like give her room to breathe and how that can show up is literally creating like sacred, like opening your sacred bubbles bigger right now. Like you mentioned, like I played with part of that, I played with part of this, I always want to jump out into action, right? So open this jaw a little bigger and say, okay, 8 minutes for my divine feminine, I'm fully immersing myself in this app, or whatever, whatever you feel, but this place can really help you do that too. So open this jaw and like give yourself those moments and really be in that. And then make that your top priority to really listen to what she wants, and make that your top action of the day. Like the main thing that she wants, if she says going to the beach, you did it yesterday, so I'm really celebrating you. That's the thing to expand right now. And the more you do that, the more your masculine will like start realizing like, oh, so okay, this is cool. She's feeling better. And then masculine eventually in the healed scenario will see that once the feminine feels better, she actually gets like really great inspired action requests, and then he's going to be happy to carry them out, right? So that's going to be the end result of her nourishing her first, so he can be like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love the cigar metaphor there, Astrid, because the masculine, when he's in his power and he's relaxed, it's like, oh, that peaceful, puffed out chest kind of thing. It's like, I've done the thing that I needed to do and everybody's happy. She's happy, right? My queen is happy. And so that divine feminine part of you is that energy. And like Astrid is saying, actually your divine feminine is the one that owns the show, right? She's the one that says what needs to get done. The masculine part is the one to be able to be creative in terms of thinking, oh, how do I want to do that? How can I create a structure for that? How can I make that happen in such a way that really lights her up? right? So that's your masculine brain going into analytical thinking and logical thinking and doing that part. And your feminine part was like, well, I know what I want to feel by the end of this. And I really want you to hear this, right? It's the outcome. I know what I want to feel by the end of this. I want to feel rested. I want to feel present. Because once you're rested and you're present, then you're able to be connected to people, right? It's
Cool. So
go ahead.
So pause real quick. So make that your action steps for each day. Like ask your feminine, like, how do I want to feel today? That question is super powerful. Ask that every morning. And what do I, like once you did that Zen moment, ask her, like, what do I need to feed my heart and soul today?
Yeah, or
I
you
think
can
that
word
can
it.
be the other question.
Yeah, you can word it too for your queen. Like, what does my inner queen desire today? You know?
Yeah.
And then you can
Yeah, just that.
right. And that can be easy so that you're really not getting caught up with the aspects of yourself. And then you can say, how does my inner king want to fulfill this desire?
Nice. Those are the 3 questions for you. That's it.
Okay, can you say it again?
How does
my
inner queen want to feel today? And how does my inner king want to fulfill that desire? And Astrid, what was the third one?
So the first one was the feeling part, just asking her how she wants to feel. And the second one was, what does my queen want today? And that can be anything. It may show up an action step or whatever, you'll see, or it may be self-care. Just ask her what she wants. And then the third one is the masculine one that you already have.
Okay, yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So how is my queen feeling? What does she desire? What does she want? And how does my king want to fulfill that desire?
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
That's your playbook and recipe, the medicinal recipe for healing right there.
Yeah, and give yourself a week or so and just permission to do it. Here's the biggest part of this call. I want you to give yourself permission, and that's why I said try it for a week, because you're experimenting with yourself, where you have no attachment to any outcome. You don't even have an outcome in mind. You're just doing it because it feels like the next thing to do, right? So you're not attached to if the client shows up, if the client pays, if the whatever. Just for a short period of time, what feels good for you, and doing the thing from your heart. Like, because if you keep doing everything from why does this matter? And when you're doing it, judge yourself and go, what's the point? What's the point? I'm still where I am. I'm still whatever it is. You're just activating all the judgments right through, and the story perpetuates. I want you to drop all of that, and just do it because you can, because you want to, because you choose to, because you're able to. And however the outcome is, it's going to be fine. You don't even need to think about it. I know that's a stretch for you.
No, I'm cool with that. I think the permission is great. I noticed that my call with my business coach, my action steps were way lighter this time as a result. And I was like, oh gosh, what is going on? Like, I was concerned about that. And then part of the reason it was light is because I had so many talks scheduled, and then one of them was moved. That was supposed to be this week. So all this space opened up, and so I'm totally fine with that. And what happens is I just get really, really drained after my work with therapy clients. That's why I'm moving into this coaching, is to work with different clients. I don't want to be I don't really want to be working with trauma anymore. And so I think that's a little scary to say out loud, even though I've said it before. It's almost like my mind kicks in and says, well, when are you going to do something about that? Right? So the permission to let it happen naturally and to just lean into how I want to feel is good, because it lets me off the hook a bit from having to figure out how I'm going to, close my practice and generate income frequently, because that's a lot of pressure right now that I'm just putting on myself.
Yes.
not helping my health.
So how can you
Yes.
reframe that? So because again, it's a pressure thing, right? But I mean, your soul knows once you close one door, another one opens for you, and you're creating, and you need a transition for that, right? So you can reframe this and say, the reason I'm closing this particular practice is because when I started it, I started with the energy of all the things that I wanted to do and get done, right? I wanted to make a difference, and it's all that do action energy. And the new space that I'm creating now is more heart centered, where my heart and my emotions and my body is honored first. And then I can step into the action thing. And if I can do that for myself and I'm starting from that place, then naturally I will also shift the kind of clients that I attract,
Yes.
where they will also be more heart centered.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be this heavy.
I just drew
Yes.
a little, this is my current practice, and it generates money. And then this is my coaching practice that's heart-centered, and there's double money.
Yes.
Nice.
Love it.
That's so great.
I
Oh
love
my
it.
gosh.
And I love the way that
Nice.
you drew it, because it's once you get into the heart, then it multiplies and becomes double money.
Yes.
But if you miss that step and don't get into the heart, then you can't find the double income, right?
Right.
So magical. I love that you also like drew it like almost like a rainbow. It's like an easy transition.
I love you got that, Astrid. And I also pulled 2 cards for you at the beginning of the call before you even got clarity on what you wanted this call to be. And I sent it in our chat. And Astrid, you would absolutely love it. So the present one, it looks like that. It says celebration. Time to let go and have fun.
Yes.
And then the second one, which is perfect with your drawing, it says, and this is for your future, Angel of Miracles. Look at that.
Abundance, yeah.
The abundance of miracles is coming your way. So anything is possible there for you, Lanie.
Yes.
And they're beautiful images. If it is that you want to put that somewhere as a reminder to know that's your new frequency that you're tweaking and honing and nurturing.
Yes.
Go
Can
ahead.
you send her pictures afterward in the chat? I think that would be powerful.
I
You can use
did.
them as your desktop. Oh, you already did. Like in the Facebook chat.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank
Awesome.
you. Yeah. I get it. I totally get it. And then I forget it. And then I get it. And I get it. And what happens is I get it when I'm at home and I'm nurturing myself. And then I go to my practice. And then I come home with all my clients' fear and trauma. And
Yeah, there's ways of like setting boundaries with that. Like, well, that's like technique stuff we can help you with too. So don't worry about all the details. Like, just start with where you're at, and the rest, like, will you can carry in the new practice of like starting from the divine first. That will expand into all of that as well, and you can get some boundary playgrounds as well.
Yeah. And so Astrid and I, we can send you at least 2 different practices for you to explore and play with to cleanse your energy when you get back.
Yeah. I got a really good one for you from Jessica. Yeah. Kyle Gray. Yeah. Cool. Like we're oh, sorry. I was for some reason I lost like track of time. Are we doing like half hour or hour? Like I think I ask that every time and they say we're doing hour and I'm like, what? Can you refresh my mind one more time?
we've been doing an hour.
Okay. It's so funny because I guess I got the sense that like, oh, we're done. She's got like the main thing, but like, how are you feeling? let us know.
Yeah, I'm feeling good because like I don't know if I mentioned to you guys that I lead a group that's Artist Way. And so right now we're finishing up the book, and everything is about, celebration and self-care. And
nice.
for even this week, I've committed to doing one like really nurturing thing every day. And this is just reinforcing that, like,
so great.
Yeah, it's like not just one thing, but like really making that the focus of the whole day. And And then the
Nice.
abundance piece too. Like deep down, I know that when I let go of what I already have going, that it is going to create huge opportunity. I know that. And I'm just, old parts of me are clinging to the current structure, you know, for security.
Right. Because that's all you can see in your reality. So it's like, and you know, and just again, releasing that, having like how you're having this conversation with us, it helps you to build that faith muscle, because on your own, when you have your faith working for you, it's beautiful. But the moments when you doubt or you feel vulnerable or tender in any way, that's when your support team steps in. So I'm so glad that you're again sharing it with us in a way that we know, like, okay, Lanie is in this space and we're in our own time and space too. We hold space for our clients. When we do our own practices, sometimes Astrid and I are guided to do extra behind the scenes work for our clients, you know, to just amplify the magic in their lives. So it's good that you bring it to the table, and know that the fact that you said it, I want you to own that as releasing. That, okay, universe, I know that this is my thing that's showing up here. I said it. I'm acknowledging it, and I'm open for that next step, that next, you know, what is the next thing after that, and just really surrendering it, because the beauty about surrender, it can be tricky. It can seem like you're doing absolutely nothing, but once you touch the sweetness of that energy of surrender, it what it does, it collapses the timeline. So there is no point A to point B to point C. All of that just drops, and it feels like you're suspended. Nothing is happening. There is no evidence of anything, right? And that may happen for a few days, a week, or something, and then suddenly there's a straight line that goes, and it goes to letter T, and you're like, how the heck did I get there? You know, like I skipped all of that journey and I'm suddenly there, right? But it's in that moment when everything collapses, that's where your faith is really needed, right? And trust in the whole unfolding of your life. Your life is unfolding, because the other part you've really got to believe is that you created a plan of what your life would look like before you took this body. And you're like, okay, I'm going to show up. I'm going to be born in this country to these parents. They're going to remind me of certain soul lessons. And by this age, if it is, and you set up a set of choices. If it is that I want to go college, I'll do this. If at this point I don't want to, then I can do that. You know, so you have like, you create your structure in that way. So at this point, you're like, okay, if I close my business, then I have these other things I'm going to create, and that they're going to work out beautiful for me. And if it is that I don't want to do that and I hold on to my business, this is the other aspect that's going to work out. And so with those choices, some will feel harder as a bit of a struggle, and some will feel not so much, right? But they're all there to serve you, and it really has to honor your freedom of choice as well, as you're present in your human body. And you said it perfectly when you say, you know, I do this, I remember and I do the thing and then I forget. You know, that is the definition of being human.
Yeah.
It's like that movie, what's it, 41st Dates or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. You wake up in the morning and then you've got to remind yourself all the things, and then so you can get into a place of moving forward. If not, you're playing that loop over and over and over again, and you get nowhere.
Yeah, and it's just a practice. Like I've beaten myself up over that before too, thinking like, oh gosh, I thought I released it. Oh gosh, of course. And then it like keeps coming back. It's like, oh yeah, that's it. It's just a reminder. That's all that it is, to step back on the wagon. That's all it is. And so one thing that came to me too, and then I want to hear from you, Lanie. Yeah, it's just so funny how Kavita, like you pretty much talked freaking quantum physics of like that time is like the whole thing of like how far I've come and like where I'm at and all that. That time doesn't even exist, and like that you like I got the visual as you were talking that time collapses basically when you like allow yourself to be and really listen to that divine feminine. And I've actually experienced that before, where like you're realizing like, oh my, yeah, like you said, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is already here and I didn't even do anything, so that can actually happen. So I wanted to give you the reframe that to appease your masculine is to like that your action is the being right now. And that is an action. I had to like really lean into that too for a long time, and like learn a lot about how to do that, and that it was enough to do that, to really give yourself permission, like, yes, that is what I need to do right now. And expand on that and see the value of it.
I think that is where I'm at, and that's even what my message has been, like, you know, in sharing and stuff. And my growth opportunity is to let go of the judgment for example, the Facebook Lives thing. It felt fun for a little bit, and then now it's like, well, that feels heavy again. I don't want to do that right now. And like letting go of the judgment that I should be doing things consistently, you know, like I can hear the masculine consistency is sexy. And so it's, you know, there's a little bit of a battle there about, you know, if it feels heavy, then I don't want to do it. And what I notice is that it feels heavy. And this goes back to the beginning of where connection and community are so important to me. It feels heavy when I don't get some kind of like energy back. You know what I mean? So like if I put a video out and there's no interaction with it, that feels really heavy to me. If I send out a bunch of emails and no one responds, that feels really heavy to me. And I'm just sitting with that right now. I'm not making meaning out of it, but
I know where you're at and like how that can feel and everything, but those 3 questions to play with from a place of curiosity, the more you expand your divine feminine and nurture her, the less those things will show up, the less your masculine will bicker and question, because in essence your masculine wants your feminine to be happy, right? That's the whole premise. He just like uses the wrong method.
No, that's the divine. It's the wounded and the divine. So to know
that's what I mean,
right? So for instance, when you talk about a validation aspect, that's the wounded feminine saying, but if it is that I show up, then you don't show me, and you know, you don't show me enough love and care. And it's directed to the masculine part of you, but it's also directed to the world. Like nobody's listening to me or paying attention or responding to me or giving me back that love. My effort is wasted. Why bother, right? So that's your wounded feminine energy. And it's getting to the point of trusting that, you know what, if I'm guided to do this, then that's what it is. I am never responsible for the ripple effect. I'm not the one responsible for the outcome. And that's for the divine to sort out, you know, creator to sort, connect the dots and that kind of stuff. He's guiding me to do this thing. I am doing that thing, right? And I'm doing it from a place of love and surrender and trust and whatever, right? I'm even doing it from my masculine energy of getting excited about creating a structure and making it even like sustainable or whatever the case is, right? You can do those things, but you're not the one to decide the outcome. And so once it feels fulfilled to you, that is your biggest outcome. Once you're able to find your sweet spot and feel fulfilled in all of this. Because it's your energy that attracts people. It's who you are as an energetic being that ultimately brings that back. And if you're in the process right now of figuring out the energies within you and how to make that more a grounded experience, right? And filling your cup, so to speak. So it's not necessarily that clients come in full force at this point, because then you'd really feel like drained, and maybe the vessel of you wouldn't be enough and you might feel broken because it's too much of an impact.
That's happening right now, where I'm actually like happy that I'm not here. Like if I had gotten 5 enrollment conversations scheduled from Friday's talk, I'd be really spent.
Exactly. And so we're here to also help you get better at expanding your energy and really being there. So if it is, if you have 5 or 10 or 15 clients, it becomes natural and easy for you. Astrid, you're muted. Go ahead.
Thank you. I forgot. Expanding the straw, it all goes back to that. Like right now, you're pretty much breathing in through a tiny straw, feeding your divine feminine. Does that metaphor make sense?
Yeah, it's really hard to breathe back when I'm not getting enough air.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So that's your main thing. Like you need to like open that and nourish her and listen to her. That's why you start with that playground, asking her. And I can tell you, like when I had to do that at some point, and I noticed the difference where um, I I started listening at first to my divine feminine. I was like, okay, what do you want? And like it may have been a question like, go outside, right? And then at the beginning, I didn't always honor it, and I felt like shit. Then I had like that inner stuff going on. It's like, oh, I felt like the wounded feminine was like, you didn't do this, and then like overall, I didn't feel good. And then I realized how important it is to actually really make that a queen decree and honor that. Like those things are going to be easy to do, right? Like you're going to see like whatever she wants is going to be easy, like the main things to feed her. But when you honor them, you're going to get so much power out of that and feel amazing. Like, so just like really be aware of what happens when the masculine, those are the things that he does for her, right? So the divine masculine, it's like when you say like, I need to go to the beach, and then it's like, please take me to the beach. You can imagine that dialogue in your head. He's like, okay, here you are. That was easy. Now what? And you're like, thank you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
I guess one question I have is, in doing this, because I noticed on my business coaching call that I wasn't super connected with my heart in terms of like what actions I wanted to commit to. And so I went with really easy things because I am trying to embody this. And there was a little judgment about that being too short, but whatever. So then for my next one, it's like if I'm really allowing action to come from an inspired place day by day, I'm not sure how to integrate these. I mean, maybe it sounds as easy as saying the action I'm committed to taking is zap every morning so that I can decide what my action is for each day.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Your mind is trying to wrap this up. Okay, so what do I move? How do I move forward from here? How do I take it forward so that we, solidify the process? And really the whole question here is first that you be this energy where you're able to sit with both sides of yourself and honor what's coming out, honor that need. And as you become better at that, it shows up. And so the evidence, to answer your question, the evidence of you knowing that you're doing this quote unquote in the right way is that you're able to create more time. A quick example I can give you of this is that yesterday when I decided to do the zap, because I did some of my other morning rituals and I chose to do zap later in the day. And I was invited to a beautiful call with Astrid and Jean in their mastermind for something else. And I was like, oh, it sounds really lovely. I can feel the energy of the group and it would be nice to be there. But I know I had some moving parts. So I expressed that to them and they were okay if I showed up or not. And then after that, my little one got sick and she started vomiting and the whole works. And so I'm like, okay, I pause and I'm like, okay, what is that part of me, what is needed most of me at this point? Not from a space of obligation or motherly energy, but really the divine part of it. And I heard go outside, and I remember as soon as I heard that, I remembered she told me one time during the course of the day, Mommy, can we go outside? I remember that. She said it one time. And I did promise her, and I wanted like my husband and all of us to go together, and he fell asleep. So I just picked the kids up, wrote a note, stick it on the mirror, told them we were at the pool, and we went and sat by the pool. And I took that picture. So immediately her energy shifted and she was dancing and making faces at me. And you'd never believe that this child was so sick like 10 minutes before. Had I not done that, that energy would have gotten trapped in her body and taken a little longer to process. And I might not have been able to show up for today's call because I would have been busy in mommy mode trying to take care of a sick child. Mm-hmm. See? So it's, while it seems like a silly thing or whatever, because I listened, I'm able to create even more time for myself today for all the things, right?
Yeah.
Does
Yeah,
that help?
Yeah, it really
totally. I posted something like that just last week, I think, and I felt so silly afterward. Like it feels silly sometimes sharing things that are so simple when the world is so ridiculously unnecessarily complicated.
is.
I'm just gonna keep showing up.
Yes, thank you, Lanie, for that. That is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So
And
which
like
side of
Zappa's the
people?
perfect playground to do that. Go ahead. What?
I was asking her, what sets of people do you really want to represent? The people who are making it complicated, or the people who have it simply, right? So rather than judging yourself like, oh, this is too easy, why am I even sharing it? Why is it a thing? It's no, I'm sharing it because the people who are complicating it need a reminder. Just like you say, we
Mhm.
forget. We do all the things and then we forget. So they needed you as a reminder to say, hey, it can be simple.
Yeah. Yeah, and like what Kavita said earlier in the call, you always have the power to choose. So you can compare. Okay, I can choose to make things complicated, and I played with this, and I didn't like it. This is how it made me feel. Now I play with choosing to keep it super simple. How does this make me feel? So which one is better? Like you choose whatever the hell you want. I'm doing this.
Right.
So
If you want to feel like
right,
this, yeah.
I know, right? So yeah, and I had another metaphor too that helped me with like allowing myself to just be and like getting out of that like masculine like you have to do stuff mode because I had like several phases last year where it literally was like you have to be just be that divine feminine like be I got that so much and I'm like really um so one thing that helped me was the ocean as a metaphor. It's like ebb and flow, right? Like and that's the same thing like you need to allow the ebb to come out and there you can't do anything. Like it's like the shells they're sleeping waiting, you know, that's like dry. There's all these tide pools that are dry and then the water comes again. That's when the energy comes again. And you'll get the inspirations if you allow that being. The inspired actions will be easy and powerful because the waves will come in, right? But like it's not, you can't force them. You can't force the ocean to come. But the ocean is super powerful if you allow it to come when it comes, right? So yeah.
Yes. All
So
good.
you're just in the perfect place where you're at and you're doing great. And yeah. You got a good play recipe for it to start your day. Zap and those like 3 questions, like in whichever order you like, is what I would prescribe to you as a doctor as your play recipe.
Doctor of play.
I love it.
Doctor of play. Yeah, Kavita put it together, but like doctors of
Yeah,
play.
and we'll send the cleansing techniques as well in the messenger, so you get
Yes.
that later.
Yeah.
You can also add that maybe to the end of your day or however you want to do it.
Yeah.
Play with
Yeah.
it.
Sounds. What's your biggest takeaway, Lanie, and what's your number now around your magic wand wish of connection and the other piece? I forgot the
Health.
second word.
Health, yes.
Health, yes. What's your magic wand number?
I'm feeling much better. Yeah, like 7, 8.
Cool.
It would be higher,
Awesome.
except I just have like some slight muscle thing in my neck. But yeah, I feel much better, and I'm really just going to allow that to be there. That right now I don't have a huge desire to share, and all the stuff that you guys are reinforcing, things that I'm aware of and have been aware of, but can struggle to practice and can lose sight of. Like I don't have a deep desire to share all that right now.
Yeah,
And
perfect.
even though I know it, I want to kind of just keep it to myself right now.
Yeah, that's cool. That's perfect.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you can share your ahas if you want. Like, you know, when you get to a point of something clicks or a realization, you can choose to share that if you wanted to. You know,
When you're inspired to,
yeah,
that's when
you're
you take
inspired.
action, and when you're not, you don't.
Right. And that's the thing that I want to do is like I can share it in the group if I feel inspired, or I can share it publicly if I feel inspired, but just at this time I don't feel like
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll
You're in
wait
the shell hibernation mode. The tide is out.
I'll wait for the inspiration to come.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
In the
yes.
meantime, you're revisiting the lessons and applying it to your new environment and your new space, you know. So
Yes.
while it's new, we I heard you say new level, new devil. I'm like, no, it's not gonna. It doesn't have to be devil. It can feel like that. It can appear like that. But
Yeah,
it's
you
a
need to
new
rephrase that.
Okay.
new
Work
level,
on
new gem.
Yeah, new
what?
level, new magic, or
Yeah,
whatever. New level, new
new gem, new
power,
sparkle.
whatever. You fill in the blanks. New level, new what? What's the Lanie saying that you want to keep?
New abundance.
There you go. That sounds way better.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. Yeah.
Beautiful. That's a good reminder.
Kavita, are we doing the money muscle stretch thing too, or should we
Oh
like
yeah.
do it another?
Oh yeah, that was that was so funny. So the thing about that was with the money stretch exercises was the intention in all of that was for you to feel comfortable about money, and the fact that you
To expand abundance, like
yeah,
expand the abundance creation and receiving muscle thing.
yeah,
So we had like this money play like
yeah,
element
Cherry
where
on
you can pick a
yeah,
cherry on top. Yeah, thank you.
yeah,
She remembers.
yeah. But I'm actually guided to do it a little differently. So
Okay, go ahead.
if you want to send us any cherry on top things, that's we'd always be happy of that. But um, I'm guided to do it in a way, and this was a technique that I learned from a book many years ago, and it's so beautiful. And so I'm going to share the process with you. If it is that you commit, the book says like I can't remember how many days, but I normally use a 10-day challenge. That's how I usually do my stuff. So I did it for 10 days. So you pick a number. Um, and if it is that you take $1 a day, so it's $10 that you're doing, and you write an abundance love note on the dollar, each dollar, right? So you have $10, 10 love notes. And as you go out, because now I'm putting you out in nature, as you go outside to do whatever you need to do or just for a stroll, find a public place that if it's in the grocery, it might be one of the aisles and you just put it at the shelf, or if it's at a park, you attach it near the seat where it's not so obvious, but at least if as you're planting these seeds, imagine of the joy and the amazement and the tears of reinforced faith in God,
That's so cool.
that
I want to play with that.
right, that a person feels and gets just from your love note. So even if you said something like here, this here is just a symbol of abundance, reminding you that you'll be taken care of, things will be better, whatever you want to say, your inspirations, your words.
Abundant surprise.
Yeah, ladies magic, right? Whatever it is that the way
Yeah.
you want to do your messaging, and feel the joy. Because here's the fun thing about giving: when you're the giver, you're also the first person that receives, because you're receiving the energy of the joy of creating a surprise. Think about it.
Oh
When
my
when
gosh.
you do a surprise for somebody, you're the one who's all bubbly about it, right?
It's so true. I was doing these little notes, random acts of art and kindness, and just leaving them on
Oh.
the car.
Oh, that's so
And
cool.
yeah, I love doing it, but I like the idea of doing it with money.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I had the visual. You could even sneak around the corner and look who picks it up and see what they do. And you'd be like, oh my gosh, really?
No, Astrid, actually, no, I wouldn't suggest that part, because that
No.
part is your ego mind wanting to see the outcome.
Oh,
The
but it will make you
validation.
happy.
No, you already know from the first part that you're planting that seed, and it's beautiful when you walk away, because then you're doing the embodiment of an angel, right? Because you already know. You don't have to go back and see, improve, and validate.
But it can expand your heart if you see people happy, no?
Yeah.
Yes, research does say that it's good for your immune system.
Yeah, but the point is that
Practice the trust and the already
exactly.
feeling it right now. Okay, get
Exactly.
it. Okay.
Especially with this exercise, like maybe you can do two different things. And
Okay.
even if you wanted that, you can actually approach somebody and surprise them with something and have that whole experience. I'm not saying that you should never do that, but I'm saying for this practice, and really come from that state of detachment and trust, because that has a way of rippling out and affecting everything. Again, the quantum mechanics of all of that. And
I get it.
Right? So you want that magical flow.
It's the abundance manifesting energy. That's really cool. I'm actually going to play with that too, Lanie. If you want, we can be accountability buddies and share pictures of
that'd be
doing
great.
it.
I know I'll do it this week for sure, because I love giving like surprise cards and surprise art, and so it's
that's really cute. I'm going to send pictures in our chat of the dollar notes.
Yeah. So go ahead and do that. And just let us know how it goes, because that's what I feel as your biggest cherry on top you can do for yourself.
Cool.
So
what a cool idea.
Yeah, while you're not taking conscious action energy things to create money, doing it in this way and taking the time to nurture your queen.
Nice.
The universe will have a beautiful avenue to have that flow come back.
Nice. Oh my gosh, you got such a cool playbook, Lanie. I'm actually borrow it also. You're welcome.
I feel the love.
So awesome. And my phone is at 10% perfect timing.
And I know that we did not do the same time, like we were talking about.
Oh, right.
So I
yes.
was gonna see if the 21st is okay.
Thanks for asking. Hang on. Let me see. I think I already switched you to Thursdays because you mentioned that this is better for you. Let me double check.
Yeah, it was really just that one time that, like I think I mentioned, I have some moving parts and.
Yes, does that work for you, Kavita?
So the 21st, from 12 to 1. Yeah.
Noon Eastern time?
Yeah.
Okay. It's funny, the universe rearranged itself because somebody booked a call then, but then they double booked a different call earlier.
Well, let me know if it ends up not being great.
No, it's perfect.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. I'm saying it freed itself up, like just
good.
for you. That's what I'm saying. Like the person double booked by accident for an earlier date, so this date became free.
Cool.
Perfect. Awesome. We'll see you on the 21st at noon Eastern time, and we'll see you in Zip and everywhere else.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Have a good day.
Okay. Bye. 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 Bye.